While Israeli terrorists have continued to carry out unimaginable carnage in Gaza, Donald Trump has refused to utter a word on the ongoing genocide using American weapons. This has prompted many to conclude that there is nothing off limits for Netanyahu in Gaza. In a latest terror attack by Israel, more than 32 Palestinians, mostly women and children, have lost their lives. The impact of one airstrike was so powerful that two children could be seen flying in the sky before falling back on the earth. I've never seen anything like this before. You can watch that video on our Telegram channel, details on the screen. You know there are reasons why I can't share that video on YouTube. Meanwhile, Trump has maintained a mysterious silence on Israeli terrorism. Members of the Western media, too, they have stopped asking any questions related to the ongoing carnage in Gaza. Instead, one media representative was more keen to ask Trump if he was still going ahead with his ethnic cleansing plan in Gaza. Trump avoided answering that question. Instead, he said that he was very concerned by the loss of lives in Gaza and how it had historically been under siege.
So you mentioned Netanyahu recently. Israel has now talked about staying in Gaza, doing long-term occupation. Has anything changed in regard to the U.S. Gaza-Israel plans?
I spoke to him today, as a matter of fact. And I think he's going to be coming to our country sometime in the not-too-distant future, maybe next week. And we'll speak about Israel, and we'll speak about what's going on. That's another thing we'd like to get solved. And I think we will get it solved. But I think he very well may be coming next month. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Can you give us any update on the Palestinian relocation plan? Are we talking to any countries?
We're going to try and solve the Gaza problem. It's been a problem for many years, for many, many decades. It's been a big problem. I've met with, as you know, a lot of the hostages. It's a terrible situation. But if you notice, hostages are being released now. And that's happened only since I got involved. So we have hostages being released, quite a few, actually.
You're still committed to the relocation?
I'd like to get as many hostages as we can. And then Gaza is a very, very important thing. It's been under siege for many, many years. And it's a shame. It's a shame. A lot of people die in Gaza. Gaza's been a place we have a lot of people die. A lot of bad things happen in Gaza. We'll see what we can do about it.
Does this mean that Trump has abandoned his Gaza ethnic cleansing plan? Trump's critics appear convinced that this US president can never take any decision which could be detrimental to Israeli interests. This short clip from a podcast has gone viral on social media in recent days. This would blow your mind away.
I would prefer a deal to the other alternative, which I think everybody in this play knows what that is.
No, what is
That's not going to be pretty, and I do not prefer that.
Behind him, who's that guy behind him?
That's
Was
Lutnick.
that Lutnick?
Yeah, Lutnick, right? That was Lutnick.
One of the
behind him.
triumvirate. He's always there.
He's always
wait
there
a
in the
second.
shadows.
There he is.
Wait a second. That's like the meme.
He
That
is.
is
That's
the
the meme.
He's doing-
We got it up. We got the meme up. So we've got Howard Lutnick over here, like kind of hiding half behind.
In the shadows.
in
Literally
the
in the shadows.
behind the president, right? And then you can go to this anti-Semitic meme from like 1930.
I've called it the triumvirate. Obviously, there's more than three people that are behind what's happening to the Trump administration. It's sort of implosion, as I've called it. But there are three that I refer to as the triumvirate. Howard Lutnick is number one, and Howard Lutnick is running the Commerce Department. He is the executor or one of the executors of the Sovereign Wealth Fund. And who is Howard Lutnick? He's former CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. He represents the Rothschild bankers. He represents Wall Street. The next is Witkoff. Witkoff is handling all of our foreign affairs. He is basically the shadow Secretary of State. And who does he represent? AIPAC. He represents the Israel lobby. And the third member of the triumvirate is Miriam Adelson. And Miriam Adelson needs no introduction, but she represents the Zionist banking class that basically bought and bribed Donald Trump, or worse.
Meanwhile, Trump says he wants to talk to Iran directly over the Islamic Republic's nuclear program.
We've done very well. We've had big success with the Houthis, as you probably know. Nobody's been able to do it like us. And they were shooting the boats out of the water. They were sinking ships. That's what they would do. They're getting a big charge out of sinking ships. And unfortunately, they're associated with Iran very closely. So they have to stop that. But we've hit them very hard, and we've been hitting them very hard.
So you mentioned Iran. They have come out and said if they're going to sit down with the U.S., they want to use an intermediary. And I believe the U.S. wanted direct talks. Would you still be willing to talk to them via an intermediary?
I think it's better if we have direct talks. I think it goes faster, and you understand the other side a lot better than if you go through intermediaries. They wanted to use intermediaries. I don't think that's necessarily true anymore. I think they're concerned. I think they feel vulnerable, and I don't want them to feel that way. And I think they want to meet, Iran. They're talking about Iran.
You said you don't think they want to use intermediaries anymore. Did they send another letter?
Yeah.
Did the UAE let you know about this?
I know for a fact. I think they'd like to have direct talks.
Did you say anything about what the letter said from Iran?
No, I just think I'm just telling you, I think they want to have, forget about letters, I think they want to have direct talks.
Who has been opposed to Iran's nuclear program? Israel. Who has advocated for a full-fledged war with Iran, citing the country's nuclear ambitions? Israel. And why is Trump so keen to please war criminal Netanyahu when he supposedly won the second term on America First promise? This would give you an idea on who is actually controlling him and his administration.
I mentioned Jonathan Pollard. I mentioned Douglas Feith. I mentioned Paul Wolfowitz. I mentioned David Wormser, most of whom were authors of the Clean Break Memo, which was a memo that was written to Bibi Netanyahu calling for spreading democracy in the Middle East because these countries are a direct threat to Israel, not a direct threat to America. Iran falls into that same category, and most of those people ended up in the Defense Department under George Bush. Douglas Feith was caught doctoring intelligence.
Feith is a bureaucratic bully hell-bent on war. The most frequent and damaging charge has been that Feith used his Pentagon office to produce alternative intelligence reports that link Saddam to al-Qaeda.
Committee, Israeli intelligence got it wrong about Iraqi WMDs. Israel was wrong about Iraq weapons. Israel knew Iraq had no WMDs, doctoring intelligence to justify going after Iraq. This is right around the same time that Bibi Netanyahu visited Congress calling for us to take out Saddam.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. If you take out Saddam, I guarantee you that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region.
So people have to understand that this saber-rattling with Iran, which has been going on for a long time, stems from that plan because they are a threat to Israel, not because they are a threat to America.
Tonight, we are going to reveal new and conclusive proof of the secret nuclear weapons program that Iran has been hiding for years from the international community, secret atomic archive.
Hence, you see Howard Lutnick standing behind Trump as he's on the plane talking about how the alternative is going to be worse, and we all know what the alternative is going to be. Again, not for America.
That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you do think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.